Almost done on this generator, bro.
Fuck! Fuck! Ah! Oh, what?
What? This better be about pizza.
What's your idea of a multiplayer game? First-person shooters where coordination and teamwork is key. What about racing games where you and your friends push each other's skills to the limit while going around 300 kilometers an hour? What about working together with mates, repairing generators while trying to escape from a murderous killer? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back doing another video no one asked for, and again no one will watch. Today I'm talking about a game that a lot of my mates hate, though quite like an ingrown hair, it'll grow on you. Dead by Daylight.
Ah! Damn it.
If for whatever reason you've never seen or heard Dead by Daylight before, well, I'm gonna lay it out for you. The core game is twofold. If you're playing as one of 4 survivors, then you'll need to repair the required amount of generators on the map, which will supply power to 2 exit doors and escape. If you're playing as the killer, you'll need to hunt down the 4 survivors who are trying to repair the generators and escape. This is a horror version of hide and seek, and it is exciting, fun, thrilling, but still also a little bit broken. Now, I'll be going over the simple mechanics and I will not be talking about the metagame with perks and such, but just the basic mechanics and if Dead by Daylight is something for you. Now, before we start, it's worth noting that there aren't very many controls in Dead by Daylight 2, so it's not hard to start playing.
You cheeky fuck.
Sick, there's gotta be a Jenny around here. Ooh, I'm the obsession.
Yay!
Survivors have 4 buttons: crouch, run, and 2 action buttons. You'll start the round playing as the character you've selected. Each character has certain abilities, and as you play the game, you'll level them up and you'll get perks. Anyways, you'll start the round on a random map most of the time, and you'll need to repair the required amount of generators. The killer will be patrolling the map and the generators, and when they get close, a heartbeat will sound. The louder and faster the beat, the closer they are.
He's on the street.
Oh fuck, he sees me.
Now, you can either try to hide from the killer by crouching around corners, hiding in lockers, or you can flat up run from them and hope they don't see you. Hiding in lockers is a great way to, well, hide, but you're also vulnerable in them as killers can search lockers and they'll cause you to instantly pick you up and try to sacrifice you. We'll get to that a little later. If you run from them and they see you, a chase music will play, and of course the killer will try to chase you down. You'll need to use certain abilities and skills to outsmart the killer and escape. Now, in straight line speed, it is worth noting the killer is faster, but survivors can drop wooden pallets behind them, causing to slow the killer down or even stop them in some instances, vault through windows, which a killer can do but survivors do it a lot faster, or flat up hide around corners and try to outsmart them. It's also worth noting when you run as a survivor, you leave scratch marks, which is used as a trail to your location which the killer can follow, so you need to bear that in mind.
Yeah, I'm recovering.
Oh shit!
If the killer gets close enough to hit you, they can only hit you twice before you fall to the ground. Once you're on the ground, the killer will pick you up and place you on a sacrificial hook. Now, in normal 4-on-1 games, you can only go on the hook 2 times generally. The first time you'll hang there until someone saves you. If you're on the hook for too long, as you can see by the progress bar below, or go on the hook for a second time, a giant claw will try to come out and essentially impale you. Now, you can either accept death and be removed from the game, or struggle. And struggling gives you more time for a fellow survivor to pull you from the hook. Third time you're on the hook, it's out and it's game over. Now, repairing generators is a lot like the reload minigame from Gears of War. You'll need to hold down one button to start the repair, and the progress bar at the bottom will slowly fill. Every now and then a challenge will appear, basically a little quick time event, and if you fail this, the generator will explode, the progress bar will drop, and the killer will be notified of which generator is being worked on. The more survivors working on one generator, of course, the quicker the progress will go, but all survivors will still need to pass the quick time events, and if one survivor fails it, the generator will still blow. Now, at the bottom of the screen you can see the status of each survivor. They can be healthy, injured, crawling, on the hook, dead, or of course have escaped. You'll also see how many generators are remaining before the escape doors can be opened.
Literally.
Speaking of opening doors, when all generators are repaired, to open the door you just need to hold down one button, which will hold down a lever, which will open the door. It's pretty straightforward, and thankfully there are no skill checks. When the door is nearly open, an audible alarm will sound from the escape door, alerting the killer of which door is being opened.
He's on you.
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
Oh, you
Crawl, crawl.
Now, if you're the last survivor left in the round, the hatch will open. This is basically a floor hatch that is random on the map. If the survivor finds the floor hatch, they'll instantly escape and win the round.
Oh, go, go, go!
Don't run. Yeah,
Hey, he's
go.
out!
Oh.
Fucking teamwork. The killer's job is pretty basic. Find all the survivors, place them on hooks. How do you do that? Well, the killer can see every generator and hook located on the map. You need to basically visit each generator and see if the generators have been started. When a survivor starts working on a generator, they'll make noise, and as you can see, some pistons will be moving. Also, like you can see as well, the killer plays in first person, which I find makes it more of an even playing field, as the Friday the 13th game was more in Jason's favour. Killers will need to knock down survivors to pick them up and place them on the hook, but survivors can wiggle off. And no, I'm not talking about these wiggles. When you've picked up a survivor from the ground, survivors have a chance of wiggling off, which basically causes you to sway around like a drunken sailor in Sea of Thieves. If the survivor wiggles off you, you'll be stunned for a moment, giving the survivor time to get away. Probably should have mentioned this in the survivor part, but fuck it. Anyway, same deal. Place the survivor on the hook and wait for them to be killed. Now, you can either be a douchebag and sit and wait for the survivor to die, essentially camping the hook, or you can try and hunt the other survivors. I would pick the latter, as if you sit and camp the hook, you're probably the kid that had McDonald's for lunch in primary school, and you probably get yourself off to the vine scene in Evil Dead.
You sicken me.
Survivors can pull other survivors off the hook too, so you generally need to watch out for this as well. Once the escape doors are open, there will be a small timer located at the top of the screen. Any survivors that do not get out before this timer empties will be killed. This will also happen if the killer finds the floor hatch first, as the killer can close the hatch. That's right, if the killer finds the open hatch before the last survivor does, then they can close it, forcing the survivor to go to an escape door and open it. Now, each killer has their own abilities. The Trapper, which is basically Jason Voorhees but doesn't have any mummy issues, can place down bear traps to catch survivors. The Hillbilly can rev up his chainsaw, and if a survivor gets hit with it, they're immediately put into a crawling state. The Wraith can go invisible, and while invisible, he will not have a heartbeat radius, but he also will not be able to attack other players. Now, if you're a fan of horror movies or even a Netflix series, there's characters for you. There's Freddy Krueger, which is a flat-up douchebag of a killer. There's Michael Myers, which I would probably say is the coolest. He has a stalk ability, and when this ability is charged out, the OG Halloween theme will play, and when he's chasing you, the Halloween themed chase music will also play. There's also the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, Jigsaw from the Saw movies, Ghostface from Scream, and more. On top of that, Dead by Daylight has original killers and new original DLC killers. There's legitimately a playstyle for everyone. Again, I know this is a really simple way of looking at it, but I'm not doing a full breakdown of Dead by Daylight, as we'd be here for about 30 minutes. Now, Dead by Daylight has been out since about 2016, and I would 100% say this is an indie game. They've made a heap of improvements, a plethora of new DLC and perks for characters, but there are some issues. The hit detection in Dead by Daylight is a bit shit, as you can hear in this clip.
How can you get me from so far away? I'm fucking done with this game. This game's...
You'll vault through a window, and if the killer swings just before you've gone through the window, but your character's already on the other side of it, you'll get hit. Now, depending on what you're hit with, you'll either go into a damage state or into a crawl state if you're hit with a chainsaw, as it puts you down into a crawl state, no questions asked. Graphically, Dead by Daylight isn't that great either. It looks like an Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 style graphics, but again, it's an indie game and I can't really knock it for that. Now, we've gotten some really good DLC characters, and in chats with mates, we've thought of some sweet killers that should get added into the game, but it's one small thing that gets me is Freddy Krueger. They used the shit remake Freddy rather than the OG one. Now you can get skins for killers and for survivors, including different weapons and outfits, but there isn't an OG Freddy outfit.
Swacked.
What do you think I've been sleeping in a crate all night? I'm waiting for you to fucking rock up. Kill it, kill it, kill it.
He's after me, he's after me.
Who is it?
It's the Legion thing.
Now again, this isn't really something I can knock back, but Dead by Daylight is a little bit like Rainbow Six Siege. It's fun to play, but it's hard to start playing as a noob to the series. When you jump into games, killers can have perks that lower their heartbeat radiuses or even give away your position, while you'll start with no perks, as you haven't leveled up a character. Now this can cause some people, like some of my mates, to pick it up, start playing a round or two and immediately hate the game. Where Dead by Daylight is easy to play, but it takes time to learn. Finally, Dead by Daylight works best when you're playing it with friends, when you're coordinating who's doing what, and most importantly, talking about the area and the map. Now, one of the most important things to do in the first couple seconds of any round of Dead by Daylight is identify who the killer is, as this will help you form a plan of attack. If that killer goes invisible, then you need to keep an eye out for moving grass. If the killer is Michael Myers, then you need to make sure that you're not within his field of vision because of his stalk abilities, and you get the point.
Further up, maybe. Go on ahead, yeah.
Okay, run into the house over here.
I've said it a couple times in previous videos I've done on the Shaken Not Nerd channel, but it's still the best way of talking about Dead by Daylight. If you and your mates are looking for something new or different to play, Dead by Daylight is perfect for that. No other game puts you under pressure when a killer, who is being controlled by someone else, even a friend, is chasing you and you're freaking out. It works even better when your friends are calling out where the killer is or what they're doing. It even works more wonders when you're playing as the killer and you're hunting your friends and you're hearing them scream, laugh, and yes, even some name calling. But it is fantastic. The latest DLC as of the time of this video is pretty damn good, and the new cowboy killer is wicked, if not a little overpowered. I cannot wait to see what future killers we get next. Dead by Daylight is available on all consoles and PCs and is available on Xbox Game Pass for those who want to try it out without committing to purchasing the game.
You know what I mean?